Imagine a killer leaving behind cryptic messages, not to be found, but to taunt. Welcome to Frozen Files, where the mysteries of the past come back to life. For decades, the Zodiac Killer's ciphers have baffled brilliant minds. What if we told you that hidden within these chilling symbols lies a sinister truth, waiting to be unearthed? Let's pull back the cryptic curtain. The Zodiac struck in Northern California in the late 1960s, terrorizing towns with cold-blooded attacks and letters mailed to newspapers. His signature was not only violence, it was spectacle. Coded notes, puzzles meant to be public, puzzles meant to wound curiosity itself. The case felt unsolvable for generations. Public fear grew into obsession. Amateur sleuths multiplied online, hungry for pattern, hungry for answers. Law enforcement kept the files open. Investigators stayed vigilant, yet the identity of Zodiac remained a ghost. Now, the birth of the ciphers. The earliest cryptogram appeared in 1969, a 408-character message sent to the Chronicle that would be cracked within weeks by local teachers. That first solution revealed a monstrous boast, but not a name. Later, a far tougher puzzle arrived. The 340-character cipher, mailed with cold precision on November 8, 1969. For more than 50 years, this Z340 became the holy grail of cryptography. It was complex in form. It resisted methods that solved ordinary substitution ciphers. It taunted the best minds who tried to read it. At times, the cipher felt less like code and more like a dare. A turning point arrived in 2020. Three private citizens, David Oranchek, Sam Blake, Jarl Van Eyck, combined human insight with computational firepower to dismantle the Z340. They reframed the problem as transposition plus substitution. They ran hundreds of thousands of permutations. They tested candidates in against English language patterns until a match emerged. Their solution revealed Zodiac's contempt for his pursuers. It contained misspellings, braggadocio, references to the gas chamber, phrases that mocked attempts to pin him down. The breakthrough proved one thing plainly. Code breaking can catch up to decades-old arrogance. The FBI reviewed the solution. Independent cryptographers published follow-ups. The decoding changed how researchers approached the remaining puzzles. Deciphering the madness required people willing to live in detail. Hobbyists on forums spent nights testing patterns. Professional cryptanalysts tested statistical models. Programmers wrote tools to measure how likely a candidate plaintext would be. Some breakthroughs came from small gambits. A clever transposition, a clue in the way Zodiac repeated misspellings, a willingness to brute force permutations that previous solvers dismissed as impractical. The result felt almost literary, meticulous method breaking through decades of mockery. The decoded text offered humiliation for investigators. The killer boasted without giving a clean path to his identity. The cipher revealed motive and tone, ego, spectacle, desire to hold attention, but not a fingerprint. Beyond the solved lies, a darker landscape of lingering mysteries. Two shorter ciphers, Z13 and Z32, remain widely unsolved. The Z13 is a tiny cluster of characters that teases like a half-said secret. The Z32 offers more symbols, but less clarity. Some researchers suspect those puzzles hide mundane boasts. Others insist they could carry names, places, or red herrings meant to waste time. Over the years, competing claims of solutions surfaced, each generating debate. Many proposed readings collapse under scrutiny because the cipher's short lengths make statistical certainty elusive. The practical result is stubborn. Few confident conclusions, many proposed readings, persistent doubt. Speculation about additional ciphers or hidden messages thrived because Zodiac cultivated mystery. Was there more mail that never reached authorities? Was there code embedded in mundane words? Internet sleuths pointed everything, from phone booth logs to marginalia in victims' letters. Reasonable caution is crucial here. Rumor multiplies. Unverified claims derail investigations. Evidence must be tested in controlled labs. The urge to solve is noble. The hazard is false closure. Law enforcement remains clear. Verified evidence matters most. What drove the Zodiac to speak in puzzles? Psychology suggests multiple impulses. The ciphers served as control devices. They let the killer dictate discourse. They created an audience that was both terrified and fascinated. Through code, Zodiac manufactured a relationship with the public. Taunt now, stay alive later. Ego played a role. The desire to narrate his own legend played another. The letters offered triumph and mockery. Each unsolved cipher prolonged attention like currency. To read that way is not to excuse. It is to try to understand a pathological performer. Who tried to stop him through analysis? Names cluster across decades. Journalists like Robert Graysmith became household voices in the hunt. Private task forces and amateur teams produced complex threads of evidence. In recent years, groups such as the Case Breakers claim new identities based on forensic leads. Authorities greeted those private claims with caution. Law enforcement reiterated the case remained open. Therefore, any claim required verification through standard channels. Some high-profile suspect theories include Arthur Lee Allen historically. Therefore, renewed attention from documentaries and interviews resurfaced memories that felt compelling. Other claims, like Gary Post's identification by private teams in 2021, pushed headlines but failed to produce a consensus in official agencies. The public appetite for resolution collided with legal standards for proof. Modern tools reshaped the search. Genetic genealogy can identify family patterns in DNA traces. Machine learning can scan for stylistic signatures across correspondence. Cloud computing can test permutations that once were impossible. The Z340 solution proved computational methods have a place. It also proved limits. A decoded message mocked investigators without naming a name. In 2024 and 2025, documentaries, academic papers, and renewed analyses explored forensic leads. Teams published white papers that re-examined cipher structure under formal metrics. The tenor of modern work is iterative. Propose, test, publish, invite scrutiny. Breakthroughs arrive slowly. They arrive squared by peer review. Pop culture absorbed the Zodiac myth. Films, books, and podcasts reframe the killer as a legend. That fame carries a cost. Victims' families relive trauma. Sensational theories gain traction. Amateur confessions bloom in comment threads. Responsible storytellers must balance curiosity with respect. That balance demands restraint. Verify facts. Avoid naming the dead as suspects without cause. Emphasize official channels for leads. The case's cultural footprint is indelible. Popular curiosity remains a double-edged sword. So where does that leave us today? Some ciphers succumb to human perseverance plus technology. Others keep their silence. Some suspect theories attract pressure. Others dissipate under scrutiny. Law enforcement keeps files open. Private teams keep searching. The public keeps guessing. If you have a credible, verifiable lead, the only right path is to give it to investigators, not forums or headlines. False claims waste time. Verified evidence can change outcomes. Before we close, here is a thought to keep. Zodiac gave us puzzles that fed mouths hungry for answers, but he refused to hand over his name. He wanted myth more than capture. Therefore, his silence became the story's fuel. If you feel the pull to solve, read carefully, test rigorously, cite sources, offer tips to law enforcement. Stories like this are about lives lost. They demand dignity. His words still whisper from the past. Therefore, here we are, listening close, seeking light hidden among symbols, searching for the one answer that ends the whisper. If that day comes, everything will change. For now, the cipher keeps its secret. Therefore, we return to the question that opened this video. Imagine a killer leaving behind cryptic messages, not to be found, but to taunt. For decades, the Zodiac Killer's ciphers have baffled brilliant minds. What if the truth is quieter than the myth and waiting inside a single plain word?